Well, hello everybody. So I've been asked to teach a card class to make a Mother's Day card. So, my brain just starts to go on overload, as to what I can do that would be simple but also fun and challenging for the students. So what I'm going to be doing for this one is I'm going to be using this Strathmore watercolor paper, and it was a kit that I had bought. I don't know if it's called a kit, but it has the envelope and the cardstock all with it, and there was 50 of them. So I have plenty. This is something I had, like I said, I bought a long time ago. All right, so the first thing I want to do when I'm using distress inks, which we're going to be painting with distress inks today, is I want to use StazOn. Now, because this card is a 5x7, I have to use my bigger Misty. I'm going to move some things around here so I can have more room. All right, so I don't know if you can see over here. Let me move this a little bit. I put my stamp on here. And the stamp that I'm using is from Penny Black. Wow. And I'm going to sort of go with this design right here. These colors, I should say. All right, so I'm going to put my card down. Give us a little bit more solid of a surface there. Use my StazOn. And the test that I did, it did require a couple of times for the inking. Now, it could be because my StazOn is like a million years old. Or it could be the watercolor paper. I'm not really sure. All right, let's go ahead. Okay, now I need to really push hard on this. All over. All right, let's see how it turned out the first time. Oh, I got a squeaky. All right, let's do this again. I like the light of it, but it did miss, some pieces of the flower, so we'll just do that again. Could be that I'm not pushing hard enough either. Now with this Misty, you notice that I did leave the foam pad in here because I really wanted to get a good push. Okay. Oh, I like it. That's perfect, actually. Okay. I'm going to close this up. Put that aside. Okay, here we go. Here comes the fun part. Okay, so these are all the colors that I pulled out. Not sure I'm going to be using all of them, but I like this. Let's start with the Spice Marmalade. I'm going to get my my battery just went dead, so it's now charging. Back to this. So I'm going to take this and my paintbrush, and I also need a little bit of a paper towel, or a little towel like this is fine. Let's pull this in here so you guys can see what I'm trying to do. And we're going to start out with this orange color, and then we can come in maybe with some red. Now, I don't know if this is bad or good for the inks. I know there's inkers that you can buy, re-inkers, but I'm just going to tap my brush on this like so. Now, another thing that you can do is if you have an acrylic block, this is probably the best way to do it, is you just put your color on the acrylic block. I have a larger one too. I've used plexiglass as well. So you just kind of do this. Now, I have to say, painting for me is very therapeutic. When I first learned years ago when I was in college, I took a painting class the artist teacher kept telling me, like, just relax. It doesn't have to be perfect. The thing that you need to do is just breathe and paint. I mean, I was just really stressing myself out. So look how beautiful this is. Distress inks, people, right? And then if you want it darker, you're going to keep tapping your brush into it. If you want it lighter, you don't tap your brush into it. The ink, I'm saying. Now, as you can see, this first started out here pretty dark, and as I'm going along, it's getting lighter and lighter. Excuse me. This dries pretty quickly. So another fun thing you can do, like if you're thinking, oh, I want this to be a little bit lighter here, just dry off your brush. Like this. Okay, so let's do the rest of these. I've also seen artists, they put some water on this acrylic thing. I don't want to get this on my card there. That'd be terrible. They put water on this and they just go with it like that. The crunching noise that you hear behind me are my bunnies adventuring around in my craft room. I've made it bunny proof, but they always find something to get into. Oh my gosh, they're toddlers, I'm telling you. Now as this dries, I'm going to go in and do some shadowing, which you see in here. Yes, I thought this would be a really fun technique and easy really for most all ages to paint this. It's so similar to a watercolor, and watercolor is my favorite painting medium. Acrylic is my next, and I just have never been successful at oil painting. But I've seen some beautiful oil paints. As a matter of fact, I have a very good friend of mine that I went to high school with that is an amazing painter. She paints with oil. She did a painting for me. So I gave her a picture and she just painted the picture. It was beautiful. Okay, we're doing good here. I'm going to speed up a little bit. No reason for me to go so slowly. You see how this stays on? It's not bleeding at all. It's really the best and the only one that you should use when it comes to stamping on watercolor. There we go. Okay, now let's go in and do a little bit more shadowing, but I'm going to use a different color. Let me get a wipey. So this is kind of a waste of my distress ink. So I won't stamp so much next time. I put some on there. So I'm going to come in with, oh gosh, I didn't pull out any red. Let me get my red ink. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have, what is this one? Fired Brick, Aged Mahogany, and Barn Door. I think I'm going to go with this darker one here. Let's see what this looks like. Oh my goodness, it's pretty dry. My poor inks are so old. All right, I don't think we're going to use that one. I have to get some rainproof for that one. This might be too bright. Oh, that might work. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so we're gonna go like this, leaving a little bit of that orange. Okay, let me get my brush a little bit wet here so I can blend this in here. Look at how that moves. Isn't it beautiful? Just so pretty. My brush is still nicely wet. I can come in here and wet it, dry it off a little bit, see if I can get those into the tips more. Okay, we're doing good here. I recommend you guys try this. If you're looking for you know, something new, if you've never done this before, it'll challenge you, but it's a good challenge. Let's go in here now. Okay, so I don't think it's 100% necessary for me to paint this whole entire card on this video. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish this flower here, and then I'll go off camera and finish the rest, and we'll come back. But I think right at this point you guys are understanding the technique. Dry brush, wet brush, that there's a difference. I'm gonna take some of that red off there. See how that works? Isn't that amazing? All right, so I'm going to do the leaves and finish the petals, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, so the flowers are all done. I did use a dry brush on some of these to kind of blend it in because it got kind of wet. That was my fault from dipping into the water too many times. Just a side note too, if you do get this too wet, it'll start to bend. It's not bending now. This is because my mat's kind of wonky, but there's that. So let's do the leaves. I wasn't going to do the leaves on film, but I think, I mean, it makes sense to have, you know, a learning video. And by the way, if you have done this before and you have any tips or technique tips, I'm having a hard time talking today. What's new? I would love to hear your comments on this. So I'm going to start out. This is really dark. This is Forest Moss, which is fine. Let me see what peeled paint looks like. I may do peeled paint and then come in with the Forest Moss. Let's try that. Now these are really small leaves. Yeah, I think the peeled paint is going to be great. And then I can come in and do some shadowing on the peeled paint with the darker green. Yeah, I always appreciate any comments you guys have on any projects that I'm doing on my videos. You know, if you see like that it would work, this is a way that you've done it, or, you know, helpful hints, I'm all for it. Gonna have to put a little bit more distress ink. Wow, I really can't talk. Oh, I forgot to paint that one petal. I'll have to go back and do that. All right, let's get some more of this lighter color. Sage. Ooh, this is really pretty. Bundled sage. Yeah, I don't use my distress products very often, and I don't know why, because dang, this is really pretty. All right, let's finish this up here. My brush is kind of getting frayed a little, so I'll make sure I can get that wet and put it back together. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but originally when I started painting, my brush was really wet and the colors turned out really light. But now that there is color on it and it's drying, I can go back in and use that. It's just so much fun to do this. Okay, this is a good example. It starts out really light. Now, I could never draw this flowers. That is one thing in all of my art things that I've ever done is I just can't draw. I need to take a class is what I need to do. A drawing class. I'm sure there's, excuse me, plenty online. Or even go to my local senior center maybe, since I am now a senior. Take advantage of that. Okay, we're doing good. So this part down here is drying while I'm painting this here. I love that each time I dip my brush in the paint, it's giving me a different color. And that has to do with how wet the brush is and how much, why can I not say that? That stuff, how's that? Okay, so I'm gonna come in with this darker. This is the forest moss. Let's get that wet. Ooh, look at that. Can you guys see that? Oh yeah, I just need to make sure that, okay, that's a little wet. Let's see what this does. Wow. I hope you guys can see the effect as I'm doing this. I'm noticing I'm leaving a little bit of white on this here and there, so let's make sure that that's all filled in. Okay, oops, missed that one. Oh, this is just amazing. Little end right there I didn't get. I don't know if you're noticing, but I'm not going over every single leaf. I'm leaving some of them light, and then some of them I'm coming in with this darker color. Okay. I think that is probably all I want to do here. Okay, let's get this wiped off. This one's going to be, this particular color is going to be interesting because I'm going to go in with some black soot. I think I pulled that out. Yep, there it is. And then I'm going to do the middle like she has it here, or he. I'm not sure who the artist is. I'm really liking that dark color in there, so I may go back after this dries. I'm going to say 100% will go back. How's that? So just not to, you know, cover up the actual ink that I've stamped on here, I'm doing a really light coat. Because I still want to be able to see the stamp. So pretty. Now, look here, how they brought that black out here as a little bit darker color. Let's try that. And then they kind of blended it in. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Make sure my brush is dry on that one. Oh, nice. Look at that. Wow. Game changer here. I love it. Thank goodness we have a guide, right? This is my guide. My trusty guide. Try my brush off a little bit. Get that blended in there. I know I'm being kind of hesitant is the word in adding this black, but it just makes a world of difference. It does need to be darker though. So I might as well say, hey, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I don't think I've ever done a painting video. I may have. Again, I have to go do that leaf, that petal there. I think I've done mixed media before. I've lost track. But I do all kinds of art projects, crafting projects. All right, now I'm going to blend this in. If there's ever a time that you guys see me doing something as well, and you have a question like, I want to learn more about that, more than what she said in the video, just email me. If it's something I don't know, I'll find out for you. All right, now I'm gonna just real quick come in here, do that leaf. Okay, so I picked Spice Marmalade by accident. Let's finish that up. Okay, we'll put some barn door in there. Great. Now this is look like it's kind of, oops, what did I just do? I was doing that. I'm in the zone here. I'm not paying attention. Let's get that blended in a little bit. Now you could dry out your brush completely. I don't really have a small piece of tape. Oh, here I do. You dry out your brush completely, and you can do your little flicks like this on your flower if you so desire. This one doesn't look like it really has any. All right, so let's try to get back into this forest moss and really darken up these leaves. Yeah, the forest moss is the darkest green that I have. You know, when I use these, the thing that keeps popping in my head is it's like, oh, this is similar to how you use Copic markers in the aspect of it blending. Copic markers are a lot of fun for me too. I like doing those. I went back to using the direct distress ink pad. Oh, this is just so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that, I think. I don't want to do too much more because my paper's gonna start warping. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to add a background to this. Let me wipe this off. And I'm trying to find my big paintbrush that I had here. Let me grab one. Hang on one second. I'm still here. I think I might have taken it in to wash it. That's where I think it is, but I have more. Let me check here. I'm gonna go with this one here. And I'm gonna use a really light blue. Okay, that's pretty bright. So I'm gonna make sure that I have enough water on here. Now again, this is something that you gotta be careful of. And that is too much water. All right, so let's put the background in. And I hope that you can see this, but it's really, really light, and that's exactly what I wanted. Just kind of put some background in there. Some blue sky. How's that? Fabulous. Okay, I think I got most of the areas. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, set that aside. Now, the next thing, I'm going to let this dry because we're going to go back and put some fun things on that one. The next thing I want to do is I want to put my Happy Mother's Day stamp on there. But I'm not going to stamp directly on the paper. What I've done is I've cut a 2x2 piece of black shimmer, or it's actually considered glitter cardstock. And I'm going to stamp on that one there. Let me get out my baby Misty. And for this stamp, I'm using the Hero Art stamp set. This one here, Happy Mother's Day. So cute, right? Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm so lucky to have a mom like you. This is a really old stamp set. I'm glad I remembered that I had this. Okay, so we can put this in here. Now that almost looks like it's not cut straight. Let me see. I wouldn't be surprised. No, that's good. Okay. Now let's do it on this side. That other side was textured, so make sure that I have that lined up properly. Looks pretty good. Again, I'm using StazOn. Just because my Memento ink is put away. Press down real well. Let's do that again. I'm acting like the StazOn has cooties. I just don't want to get it all over my hands. That's why I'm doing that. Okay. Another press. glue this on to the back. Now if you wanted to, you could do this stamp using the watercolor paper and just take your brush and do the same thing that we did to the background there. And we're going to let this dry. We're going to come back here. Okay, of course I can't let this go. I got to make it better, in my opinion. So I'm going to use one of my Jelly Roll pens. My orange one actually dried up, which made me sad. I'm going to use this one. Now you could also use your, if you have the Wink of Stella pen, I think those are the same colors, which would work too. I have no idea if this is going to pick this up. I'll hold it closer when I'm all done. I'm just coloring over with this sparkly Jelly Roll pen. Just adding a little bit more to it. Okay, that's still wet. Not 100% happy with this flower right here. Too much water. That's what I did. Mostly, you know, I hesitated about that black. I think that's what it is. I should have gone with my gut instinct and not used it. But okay, so I'm going to hold this up here. These are already pre-folded, but it looks like I'm having difficulty with it anyway. I don't know if you guys can see the shimmer. Hopefully you can, but that's that. Okay. It might be fun to also stamp thinking of you, wishing you happy Mother's Day or something like that on the inside. That would be fun. Okay. We'll do that right here. Go in with my black Jelly Roll pen and give it a little bit more detail. It just, that black soot just didn't do me. Looks like it's still wet because it's not, here's my scrap. It's not coloring. Well, it's actually like a dark gray, but that's okay. All right, everybody. So yeah, that's painting with Distress Inks. The more I practice, the better I will get. So I'm just going to keep practicing. I hope you enjoyed this, and always will take your trying to get all my lids on here advice on how to do things differently and better, because you guys are the experts out there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.